Welcome back to another video. My name is Abby and today we're talking about how to stop negative thought patterns. Now, if you're new to this channel and you want to start developing your self-awareness and start removing limited thoughts, start right now by hitting that subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. So let's get back to it. How to stop negative thought patterns. First, in this video, I want you to understand the formula and anatomy of the negative thoughts so that you can ultimately free yourself from that, learn to change the variables so you can have free will. And I looked up the etymology of the word free will just so I could be very clear about what that means. And it means no bondage. It means unrestrained from movement. So think about how these negative thought patterns are creating ropes and anchors and not allowing you to freely move as you want to, not allowing you to have the life that you want to live right now. So let's talk about it. A thought. If you've watched other of my videos, you know that we think between 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. Every single thought you think, your body releases a chemical, which is a feeling. So your body can feel it and your mind can think it. Those two together, a thought and a feeling, create a state of being. Now, this state of being, when you think about negative thoughts, if you're thinking a negative thought, you're feeling negatively, you're going to think another negative thought, you're going to feel again. And so this is a very cyclical process that has you in the state of being. Now, if this is stress of money, if this is loneliness or just fear, anxiety, those going over and over and over. Well, what's interesting to think about this is your self-primal survival mechanism is like, okay, well, we want to keep this because it's safe. Why is it safe? Because it's kept us alive up until now. From when you're born till right now, you're still breathing, you're still having everything you need. Even if it's a miserable experience for you, your deep psyche doesn't want to change. Your subconscious is running its programs that have been deemed acceptable because you're alive. So it is going to be uncomfortable to stop thinking these negative thoughts, not because it's not good for you, but because it's outside the norm and it's outside what your subconscious is thinking is safe. Now you understand, a thought and a feeling creates a state of being. As you go over and over and over and over with that state of being, you create a set of beliefs, and those beliefs are how you perceive life to be. Now, what is fueling those thoughts? What is that domino before that first thought goes to make the feeling, to make the state of being? And let's examine it. A lot of times, those thoughts are being fueled by old traumas. And what is a trauma? A trauma can be an acute trauma. That means something specifically happened at one point in your life. Either you experience some sort of physical abuse, it could be sexual abuse, psychological, even spiritual abuse as a child from between 0 to 7 years old. That something happened to you where it's deeply embedded. Now, those traumas can go well into right now. You need to look and see what things have happened to you in life that have really imprinted on you to cause certain beliefs to be occurring. There can also be a chronic trauma, which is maybe a parent or authority figure over and over and over telling you you're not good enough, telling you you're stupid, maybe telling you that your body isn't right in some way, shape, or form, or potentially somebody you're in a relationship with giving you verbal abuse, potentially physical abuse, and it's chronic because it's over and over. Then there's complex traumas, which could be a multitude of different traumas layered on top of each other. So most often, based on your past, this thing that has happened either one time or repeated, you have a thought that you think creates a feeling, and then it creates that state of being. Another source of what is hitting that first domino, that first thought to go into this pattern, is an addiction to the thoughts. So most likely from that trauma, you become addicted to thoughts of unworthiness, thoughts of fear, thoughts of anxiety. And literally, just as somebody who's on a substance addiction, you look for that hit. You wake up in the morning, and if you're not thinking something that's causing you stress, or maybe you're worried that you're going to be late, or you're not knowing how you're going to pay bills, or if you're going to find the love of your life, you wake up in that state. Your environment is telling you that that is who you are, so you continue to act it out. Well, over the course of time, your body is literally looking for those chemicals. Again, we say the thought, and then your body releases the chemical. So your body becomes addicted to getting those chemicals at a certain time throughout the day. Maybe you're in traffic and you're going to be late, or you're coming home, or there's some sort of stress that's perpetual. It could be from friends, it could be from your parents, it could be so many different sources, but they are essentially keeping that stress alive. Maybe it's somebody at work who makes you feel like you're not good enough. So you can chemically release that feeling of unworthiness, and then you're going to be living it. So it can come from romantic relationship, friendships, work relationships. There's different sources to these interactions that will allow you to think and then feel those addictions. So it's important that you start understanding and observing what are the thoughts that occupy your mind most of the day. So when you're in this thought loop, when you're in this like chemical hit and your body becomes addicted, you're looking for that thought that's going to prove that whatever it is true. And that comes through the form of confirmation bias. So you're looking for feelings of unworthiness. Maybe you go to the store and somebody yells at you for pulling in a parking spot, or maybe an authoritative figure tells you that your work isn't good enough. Whatever it is, this is going to confirm, this is going to start to program your filtration system, which is your RAS, which allows your eyes to only pick up what your brain thinks is true. So even though there's a lot of other truths out there that would disprove your current belief system, you will filter them out so that you can prove what you think life is. And then you go right back into that negative thought pattern. You go right back in so your body can get that hit of the negative chemical. And negative being that which you don't want to experience. It's harmful to you. It takes away from your joy. It takes away from you, from life, filling you with life and you giving back to life, and that being a symbiotic relationship. So now that we know that thoughts plus feelings equals a state of being, and most likely what's causing those first thoughts are traumas and then ultimately thought addictions, how can you change that? The first thing you can do is become aware of you doing it. That is the ultimate key to this whole thing. Now, that awareness can sometimes take a little work to get to, and that can become frustrating, but don't give up. The more you work at it, the better you'll get. You can also use therapy. Somatic therapies can help to filter out and process that trauma that's embedded in your body. It's basically a soul coach. I talked to somebody recently about that it can be intimidating to go to therapy, but ultimately that person's there to help you see yourself more. It's going to be a mirror so you can have better observation of yourself, so that you can start catching yourself doing these things that you no longer want to experience. You can use things such as meditation to observe yourself. Who are you being in the world, and how are you doing that? How is it deviating off the course that you want to experience? Continuing this negative thought loop. And also ask yourself, what is the greatest expression of myself? This is a huge Dr. Joe Dispenza, where you start using your frontal lobe to look out and ask, what is the ultimate greatest expression of myself? Who can I be in this world? See who you're being now and who ultimately you want to be based on your qualities and your standards and your value system, and start to align with the person that you want to be, your greatest expression. You can also look into the world and past. You can look in history and current times. Who is somebody that you want to emulate? Who is somebody out there living right now those qualities that you want to embody? Start using that to find and calibrate that and think, what thoughts are they thinking? What does their life look like? And move over from this residual and this perpetual thought loop of negativity into that which you want to be right now, because it has to change inside for you to ever experience it outside. The person and the source of the change will always be you. Be the change you want to see in the world, as Gandhi said. Be it. You are a human being. If you start to align with that being state, which we know is thinking and feeling now, you will then start to create change in the canvas of reality. Now, the second thing you can do to start changing that negative thought pattern is you can use your morning and nighttime to start planting seeds in your subconscious. The reason being that you're in what we call theta brainwave. That is the gateway to the subconscious. It's the way to communicate. And we get there from rising. We go delta, theta, alpha, beta, which we're in right now. And as we're going to sleep, as more melatonin is released, we go from beta to alpha to theta to delta. So between alpha and theta, you hit it 2 times every single day. That is a great time for you to start putting in those seeds that you want to experience. Think about who it is you want to be in the world. Plant those seeds. Feel how you would feel to be that. And start really convincing your body that it's happening now, because the only way to really change your life is through feeling. And the great time to feel that reality that you want to experience is right when you wake up and right before you go to bed. As you're coming in from the dream world and as you're going into the dream world. Now, a third way that you can start changing the negative thought patterns is never let yourself finish a negative thought. So even when you're in the midst of it and you're really in a mood and that's raging and all those addictions are starting to flood, do your best to bring awareness to that and just stop it there. Fill it in with that who you want to be. What is the greatest expression of yourself? And you can even start there. Just ask yourself that question in the midst of it all. Everything feels like it's falling apart. You're in that addictive nature. Ask yourself, what is the greatest expression of yourself? Now, the fourth thing actually comes from both Maxwell Maltz, who wrote Psycho-Cybernetics, and Joseph Murphy. And they say to literally say the word stop or cancel. So if you're in that midst of the negative thought and you're like, oh my gosh, I just am never good in stop. And then you're going to replace it with that positive version of you that is in alignment, because you're going off path, you're going into the old habit and the old thought pattern, and you want to get back on the path in alignment according to who you want to be in the world, according to what you want to experience. So simply saying stop, it can be soft, it doesn't have to be loud, and it's only about you saying it so that your ears can hear it. So stop, cancel. Try to flush that out of your body and bring into your body the thoughts and feelings that you know will create the state of being and ultimately the experience. So all of these steps are there to help you to stop the negative thought pattern. Doing these 4 steps over and over, and that repetition is really what's going to help unwire those old thought patterns you have right now. If you fire together, you're going to wire together. And as you start to fire in a new way, you're going to unwire and prune apart this old network of circuitry in your brain with those negative thought patterns. So every time you start getting into that, stop. You're going to shift over. You're going to start building that new network of synapses, and they're going to fire, they're going to wire, and that's going to create, and that's going to be your dominant and default rather than the old one. The less you're thinking about them, the less you're fueling them, the more they'll prune apart and no longer be your automatic default. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, hit like. It helps to support this channel and let me know that you like this content. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and I'll see you on the next one.